make no mistake about it, I don't have a higher priority than to go and win a Super Bowl.
Do you feel you've let Cowboys fans down by not having the success you had in the 90s?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Jerry Jones, hey. Sometimes you got to dig deep to sell those season tickets and get people to show up to the game. Sometimes you got to admit you let the fans down. 30 years since they've been to an NFC championship, and I still believe there's an element of hucksterism, if that's even a word, in Jerry Jones, where he knows he's got to keep them engaged every year. He knows he's got to make them think that this year could be the year. You got to have the season ticket renewals. You got to have the fans excited. The reality is every year they are making obscene amounts of money, all 32 teams, and only one of them wins the Super Bowl. But it has been a very long time, and with each passing year, it gets more and more glaring. I never would have dreamed it would get to 30, but here we are. The question is, how many more years beyond 30 will it be, Chris, until the Cowboys get back to the game that decides who goes to the Super Bowl?
Well, I will say they made some big moves last year. I certainly wasn't in favor of them trading Micah Parsons. I was not. But in trading them and kind of messing up that situation, did they make the best of it? Yeah, I kind of do believe they made the best of that situation when it was all said and done and did what they had to do to improve their football team. I agree with you on what you say with Jerry Jones to a degree. I know where we differ is I do think Jerry Jones really wants to win that Super Bowl and wants to hold that thing up and be like, screw you, Jimmy Johnson. Like, I do think that's there. I think his ego's so big, he definitely wants to win one by himself without having anybody else get credit. So I do think that's real. Now, you look at their team, you look at their roster, and you go, it doesn't look bad. That's for sure. I mean, the offense with the franchising of George Pickens, which, of course, is expected, is top notch. I mean, there's nothing to look at the offense. The O-line's good. Maybe they could get another running back, but it's not like, I mean, Javonte Williams is good as we know. I mean, they got everything you want. Playmakers, a receiver. Dak Prescott was phenomenal last year, maybe one of the best years of his career. The defense, it's pretty damn good too. Now, there's a few spots you can look at, and that's where maybe they can find a pass rusher in the draft here. And this is a draft, again, if you need front seven, this is the draft for it. So the Cowboys, yeah, I do look at them and go, I think, as it looks right now, and I know we haven't even hit free agency and we haven't hit the draft, but even what they got on the roster as we sit here, I go, can they be a pain in the butt and a big player in the NFC next year? I do. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
There have been many years over the last 30 where we felt that way going into the season, but then something happens. It's always something for the Cowboys that keeps them from reaching their perceived potential. I just think that it's sad to think that someone who has been that successful financially can't fully enjoy it because he's tormented by this obsession with winning another Super Bowl that he can take more of the credit for. I think he'd like to. I just don't think that he's nearly as focused and determined, and I just don't, because he still won't pay a coach to not work for him. I mean, if he was willing to try to keep the program moving in the right direction, why would you keep a coach a year longer than you really wanted to simply to justify paying the coach? It's stupid little things like that that make me think there's a deeper play here, and it's more about making as much money as possible. But speaking of money, he was asked about free agency on the bus on Friday night. Here's what he said on the plans for spending in this upcoming wave of available veteran players.
I would bet that we will spend more money in free agency than we have. The only way to push more is for me to go borrow some of my future. And I look at things, frankly, beyond that. I look at where we are with Dak, and I look at where he is in his career. And I look at some of the pluses that we have on our front and what we think we can do there and what we can do with Pickens and Lamb and what we can do with our running back that we just signed. And so all of those things, I want to do everything we possibly can to stop somebody and to basically win some third downs more than we did last year. And so I think that would be the area that you would see me bust the budget.
You know, I do have to say this. Of all the people who don't need to wear the combine credential connected to the NFL, the one guy whose name, face, and voice is instantly recognizable, does he really need to have the combine credential, especially on his own bus? But I saw the straps hanging there, and it's just funny to see who chooses to put that thing on and who doesn't. But he was wearing his credential, so no one could doubt that it was indeed Jerry Jones. And he said at the end, bust the budget. Now, 2 years ago, remember the whole all-in thing?
Yeah.
He was asked the question at the Senior Bowl about all-in, and he used all-in the traditional sense, and then they spent the next 3 months gaslighting us on what all-in means. I don't know if there's another definition for bust the budget that they can try to soft landing their way to other than, busting the budget when it comes to free agents. But, they've got to create cap space. They'll restructure contracts. That's easy to do. It's not that hard to create dollars in the current year. And everybody borrows or borrows against the future. That happens. We see that. The question is, how much are they willing to spend in cold, hard cash now for available free agents, especially on the defensive side? He's written the check to the fans. Let's see if he writes the literal check to the players.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. Jerry Jones, we've discussed this before, the Jones family, they have an eye for talent. They do. They do have the eye. It's some of the other stuff that you've talked about. It's the other stuff we've talked about. Their inability to get in front of contracts and that play out and then not build the team the right way and cost themselves other players because they have to overpay for people where I go, wait, we add these three guys up. You overpaid them all by $7 or $8 million. And now it's, $24, $30 million that you lost by overpaying. That's another 4, 5, 6 guys on your team that could have helped out to make the roster more deep. The coaching thing, like you talked about, he meddles too much. He gets involved in that. All right. I mean, he's too involved that way. So there's a lot of positives about Jerry Jones, certainly. And you look at them right now and you go, yeah, they're not far off. They're not far off. But I think you look at it and go, like we talked about, there's not much offensively you can look at to go, they need something there. It's about the defensive side of the ball. It's about pass rusher. It's about middle linebacker, maybe one other guy in the secondary. Probably need another cover guy. So, yeah, between free agency and the draft, how do they spend those resources and go about that? I'm going to be interested to see. Is there a guy, like Devin Lloyd of the Jaguars? Is he a guy they'd make a play for in the middle of a defense? He's phenomenal. He's one of the best linebackers in the sport. They do have Kenneth Murray, who's been around a little bit. Demarion Overshawn, who came back from a serious knee injury last year. I don't know. But where do they make that move? I certainly think pass rusher is still probably the biggest thing on their team you look at to go, they need to improve that area. They got some depth, they got some players, but they don't have that guy. And I think they would try to address that this offseason.
And one of the reasons to go out and spend on free agents, they're going to use a 3-4 defense for the first time since 2012. So you need to have the right personnel to run it. That's one of the biggest challenges if you switch from a 4-3 to a 3-4. You've got to have the right people. You've got to go out and find the right fits. And that's going to take some effort. And it creates a situation where the coaches on the staff are going to maybe be inclined to guys they've got connections to, so it makes sense to look through position by position who the coaches are, where they've been, where the free agents may be available, and you just kind of follow the trail that way to what the Cowboys are going to do. But they say they're going to spend, Chris. I'm skeptical because we've heard this before. Let's see what they ultimately do. And they will get $66 million in cap space by restructuring the contracts of Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Tyler Smith. That money doesn't evaporate. It just kicks into future years, and they'll have to deal with it in future years. But for now, it creates cap space. $301.2 million is the 2026 cap limit. Clearing 66 gives you some room to work with in 2026 if you're going to spend real dollars this year. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.